Well, I think I've always been afraid to give my all, in the sense if I give my all and fail, what does that say about me? Does that say I'm not worthy? Our worth is not wrapped up in the success or the things that we accomplish. Like, you have worth internally just being who you are, and you being who you are, that's enough. My name is Jordan Henderson. I am a creative, videographer, photographer, drone pilot, go down the list, whatever. I like to encompass it as creative. And what do I do? I feel like I capture moments, and I get to play that back and like show people authentic and special moments in their life, and they get to see that and kind of digest that through my visuals, I feel like. Okay, so how do you balance a career in nuclear medicine with photo and video work? And what do these two different sides of your life give you? And how do you make time for them both? So the balance is kind of tough. Um, the nice thing though is, in my job of nuclear medicine, like my boss and our staff, like we're like very close knit. We're almost like a little family. So everybody makes time and accommodates and everything for other people, and that makes it really, really nice. So if I have trips or work or anything like that that comes up, we find ways to make it work a lot of times. And like, there's been many a times where they've sacrificed and been short staffed so I can go and do things, and vice versa. So what do these two sides of your life give you? The photo and video work give me, I won't say purpose, because there's purpose in both sides, but the photo and video side give me creative expression. They give me the opportunity to see things and travel, and I feel like experience some pretty unique things in life. The nuclear medicine side grounds me, gives me stability. It helps me appreciate the health and stuff that I do have, and the people that I do have around, because like, you're around sick people, you're around people that are going through it, and I think being able to see that, and not only see it, but then help people and like care for them just by doing their scan, giving them a warm blanket, telling them things are going to be good, like that type of stuff. It keeps me grounded in recognizing that, hey, there's more to life than getting a sick drone shot or capturing this on video. But I think both are very important. So and how do I make time for both? it's it's stressful, but um, I feel like you just have to take the ebbs and flows as they come. Sometimes nuke med is calling more of my time. Sometimes the photo video stuff is calling more of my time, and I don't try to force one side or the other to try to make something happen. I feel like I just, again, whatever the day calls for, the day calls for. There's some days where I'm stuck at work till, you might be in there from 8 to 8, and then there's some days where I'm out of there early. I was only in there for 6 hours, and now I get the whole rest of the day to run and go do a shoot or go create or go edit. So, um, yeah, you just got to take what you get. What do you love the most about photo and video work? I think it's almost like playing basketball. I use a lot of analogies whenever I talk to people, and sometimes it seems crazy, but I think basketball is a great analogy for this type of work. Whenever you get a shot to go in and you see that swish, it feels good. And you're like, okay, I don't know what I did there, but I got to do the same motion again. And you might do the same motion again and it might miss. And then you do the same motion again and it might hit. And then you're learning, okay, well, if I stand this way, if I release the ball this way, if and I feel like that same thing kind of applies to this stuff where, again, like you said, you're learning different setups, or you might come away with a shot that you thought is really good, or you might see an idea and execute on it. And I think just learning and trying to progress in the field and in the craft is what I love about it most. And there's so much room to do that in so many different niches: portrait photography, landscape photography, portrait video, like you can go down the list, drone stuff, FPV drone stuff. Like, so I think just having that enormous playground to kind of get immersed in is what is special about photo and video work. What is your creative process like? Chaotic. Not dialed in like it should. Um, I do have a process. I think, again, like, I should probably be more structured with my process. But one thing I do like to do is get out and, like, music drives me, music inspires me. Music can move you to tears while you're listening to it, thinking about visuals and stuff like that. So I think getting out, experiencing nature, putting on some headphones and just zoning out, letting ideas and stuff flow to you, I think that that's a huge part of my creative process and something that I do. Even if I'm just on the car ride home, I might take the scenic route, roll down the windows, find a good song, just start blasting that, and then see what ideas come to my head. And that has been vital for that has been vital to me since the beginning of this. And I feel like that's kind of that fire that gets me going is whenever I can again start to see things come together in my head based around a song. So yeah, listening to music would be my creative process. Um, so you said you felt like you've never fully gave your heart to anything, even yourself, because of the painful experiences in your past. Why do you think creation became the thing you were finally able to give your all to? It's like different painful experiences, losing people, sometimes mourning the different transitions and seasons that you go through in your life can be hard as well. There's been many a times where, again, you might get around a friend group, you might have a specific person, something happens, you lose that friend group, you lose the situation, you lose that. And I think the idea of things going and the idea of losing things has been a very painful point for me where I'm like, I almost kind of want to avoid certain special moments because I'm like, okay, when's this going to end? More specifically, being present is something that I'm focusing on right now. When I was younger and I had lost my grandma, I wasn't present at all in that whole moment. And it's not that it changes or anything, the love that you have for that person or that that person has for you, but I felt like I wasn't there for her. And like in that transition, I didn't, fully put myself into that, just trying to avoid it, trying to, be focused on other things. Oh, this is like, you know, this is kind of annoyance to me at the current moment, like all these different bad thoughts. And then when she left, and then that after fact of realizing like, okay, you could have been there more, you could have did this, you could have, and like everybody gets those, but it genuinely was a thing where I'm like, okay, what am I out here chasing, what am I out here doing that is more important than the time that we get to spend with loved ones. So things like that, you have your breakups, your failed relationships, those types of things. I think I've also been very, very hard on myself in the past as far as just my own self image of myself. When I was back in high school, I got close to say checking out of here. And just the idea of even doing that, the idea of not thinking about how that impacts other people, um, seeing how when the people that did find out that I wanted to do that, seeing how that impacted them and where it took their mind and like, the type of thoughts that they had going from there. Those types of things I feel like are things that if you don't take the lesson from and keep learning and growing from, again, you're gonna have more and more of those like really, really painful experiences. And I think creation has showed me in all of that to slow down and be more present. And a lot of times you have to do that in order to get good shots, or you have to do that in order to see something, or in order like you can't just rush into a shoot and then just be like, oh, going all over the place with things. And the more that I've learned that, and the more that I've seen that actually doing the things that you would think don't have anything to do with creation actually contribute more to being creative. So again, taking the break away from the camera, or like if you're experiencing something or you're doing something and you're thinking maybe I need to film this, or maybe like no, maybe you just need to be present in it, and maybe you need to get the actual takeaway from this moment before you try to capture the moment. So I think creation has showed me that, and I've been able to translate that into regular life. So again, you go home, see the parents, whatever, instead of being like, oh, I could be editing right now, I could be working right now, I could be like, no, this is time with the parents. They might drop some wisdom or something on me, changes something of how I view going into this week, or maybe it's a piece of advice that I need this week, and I'd have never got that had I not gone home and been present. So just things like that where, again, even this conversation today, I think that this is a good thing to be able to do, and like I'm reading these questions and it's like I feel like I'm rambling and just kind of yapping and going all over the place, but they're actually making me think about my life and just how I like all of this stuff, even getting to this point. And I feel like that's good introspection to do. And it's something that's going to help me again with more of this creative stuff as I go along the journey. As far as giving your all, I think I've always been afraid to give my all, in the sense if I give my all and fail, what does that say about me? Does that say I'm not worthy? Our worth is not wrapped up in the success or the things that we accomplish. Like you have worth internally just being who you are, and you being who you are, that's enough. That's enough. You don't have to do anything more than that. So I think I'm starting to finally give my all into this because of the fact that I'm trying to lessen the expectation, because it's like you're obviously, nobody's 100% there yet, but I'm lessening the expectation of an outcome and more so just doing it and then just putting my all into it. Whatever comes of it, comes of it. So I think that that's how I've been able to kind of transition into this. And in the same ways with life, I think, give your all to it. Don't be afraid to actually love and like put your heart out there for certain things. Like I know that's a bold talking point for right now, because like everybody's guarded, everybody's like hurt from something, everybody's going through whatever they're going through. So it's tough, but I don't think that being guarded and closing yourself off or like hindering yourself is a better option. It's just not. I don't know if you watch movies or not, but the new Spider-Man came out. So not to spoil anything, but he has this inhibitor thing that he puts on the back of his neck, and like it controls the Spider-Man side of him, because like that was starting to come up too much. He was getting a little too aggressive, a little too wild, and like he wanted to dial that side back and make him more human. And in the movie, he's trying to figure out how to basically neuter himself and like tame those things back. And the Hulk in the movie ended up saying something that was kind of like really eye-opening. It's like, who's to say that this is a bad side of you for specific moments? Like basically, like if the moment calls for you to be, Spider-Man or this or that, and you have to have that aggression or you have to have this aspect of you come out, that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing just because it's not the right thing for maybe this moment or that moment. And inhibiting yourself, I think, it's just not a good thing to do. And it's something that I feel like I've done for a long time, just trying to like kind of dial back the creative side, dial back my personality, dial back the goofiness, the jokes, the whatever, and in the hopes of not looking goofy, not, saying the wrong thing, not sounding dumb, not stuttering, not saying a lot. Like, you can go down the list, and that's not real though. That's not authentic. And people love authenticity. And that's been something I've been focused on. So can you talk to me about some life defining moments you've been through and how they shaped you into the man you are today? So one of them was whenever we went to Guatemala and we hiked this volcano. So Volcano de Fuego in Guatemala, I think is one of the most, I don't know if it's the most or one of the most active volcanoes in the world. It basically goes off like every 8 minutes or so. And like right now it's going nuts. I don't know. I don't even know if Guatemala is going to exist by the time you go. But um, it's a very, very strenuous hike, and we wanted to get to the summit, and not only just get to the summit to get to the summit, but to get up there, fly our drones, capture stuff and everything. And from the moment that we started this hike, I had 50 pounds of gear on my back, which was a huge mistake. And the elevation of Guatemala and Antigua and like that area specifically is higher than here in the States or most other places. So the altitude sickness started to really, really get to me. And within the first hour of the hike, I mean, I was ready to tap. It was bad. And at this point too, I'd also taken a little bit of a break in the gym. So like I had a little bit of extra weight on me. Like it was just not, it was not good. So we're going through this hike, and everybody that we're with, they're either in the fast group or up front, and it's like I'm lagging behind. Well, we get up to the next checkpoint, they're leaving to start the next point, and it's like I just got up trying to start the rest. I get 5 minutes, got to keep going because you got to keep up with everybody. So this went on for hours and hours and hours. We finally reach up to the summit. I'm dizzy. It feels like I'm drunk because again, you're dehydrated. I didn't eat anything because the altitude sickness made me like nauseous and made my stomach upset. So it was just physical. It was a real physical challenge and a real mental challenge in order to do this. And the whole time I'm thinking, why did I come here to do this? Why, like, this isn't worth it. We get to the top and they're like, okay, so this is the top of the base camp volcano that's not active. You can actually hike down that and then back up the active volcano to do that to get up to the top of that. So it's nighttime. You just did 8 hours worth of hiking already, or 6 hours worth of hiking already. And I'm like, do I go and do this? I'm like, I can see the volcano from base camp. I could just call it a day. But then I was like, nah, I'm like, you're only gonna do this once. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You got to do it. So we start the trek down. And at this point, I can't feel my knees, like my leg, I'm starting to cramp. It was bad. And every single step, I'm like, man, I got to go back up. Like, we got to go back up this other mountain to get back to base camp. So we're trekking down, finally get to the bottom of the active volcano, and we have about an hour and a half trek up, and probably longer than that. Start trekking up that, and at this point, like, I really don't know if I'm gonna make it. I'm taking 4 steps forward and sitting down, 4 steps forward, sitting down, like, and they have to get people to get me back up. I remember my buddy just saying, like, come on, come on, come on. Like, listen, I got you. You know, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, God, please get me through this. Like, please. I gotta get home. I'm like, my parents would be tripping if I don't get home. So step by step by step, we get up to there and we make it to the top. And I was so out of it and so, like, my head was spinning. I could barely breathe. I was super tired that I almost, like, I didn't capture anything. We tried to fly drones, but the wind was bad and it was dark and it just didn't turn out well. So all I could do in that moment was just take in the volcano, and it erupted. And we got to see some crazy, crazy eruptions there. And the whole time I was thinking, well, maybe, like, like, this is a failure, and like, you came all this way and you didn't get the shots that you wanted to get, and this and that. And I'm thinking, okay, is this about, again, getting the shots, or did you just hike something that the majority of the world would struggle to do, and you did that with all this weight on your back, all this, like, having never did anything like this before. And it really opened my eyes to see that, like, okay, if I put my mind to something, like, I can really accomplish that. And the idea of this tattoo is not just like, okay, we saw a cool spot. It was, dog, like, you actually doubted yourself, and then not only achieved getting up the volcano and then getting up the initial volcano, but then going back down and then getting up that one and then coming back up to base camp. Cause like, we had to hike back up and it's pitch black and all you just see is these little headlamps going up a mountain. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's all the way over there. And we made it back. And I think in that moment, and just in general, I, like, at that point in my life, I was doubting so many things, even with the creation aspect where I wanted to take things next. If this was something that was even for me, really. Am I just chasing social media? Am I just chasing, like, whatever? Am I actually, like, in this? And where does my story go from here? And there was a part of me that felt like, maybe this stuff isn't for me, or maybe, like, I can't accomplish, like, because there's aspects of this that's like, it's tough. And I'm like, okay, when it actually gets tough, do I back out or do I quit? And this was like one of the most eye-opening moments of, you can make it through if you don't back out. And even when you feel like you're about to die, like you can make it through it without backing out. Again, I've accomplished and done things in life that have been really, really, really cool, and really, really, like, you know, shoot, finishing college is an accomplishment. Like, you can go down the list of, like, different things, and nothing hit as hard as this, because I don't think I've actually doubted myself in anything else as much as I did doing this hike. And because of that, I think it shaped me to see that, okay, in your lowest moment, you can get through this. So that shaped me into viewing other things as, like, I mean, literally from the point we got back, I'll say, I'm like, it ain't fuego. Like, it's not hiking fuego. So yeah, that has gotten me through, like, the little mundane annoyances or, like, hardships that we go through back at home. It doesn't seem like it's nearly as bad just because of that. So If your younger self was here with us right now, what would you say to him? I would tell him to give himself the permission to be him. He doesn't need to, again, inhibit or mask himself. He's loved where he's at and the point that he's at, and that God has more for him, even if he can't see it at the moment. I tell him I'm proud of him. So, because he's he's made it through some stuff. Those negative thoughts that you have in your head, those don't define you. And to buy hard drives because the prices of SSDs right now are crazy. Like, if your future self was here, what would you, or what would he tell you to stop holding back? I think he'd tell me to stop holding back parts of my personality and like bringing myself out on camera. Stop holding back, like talking to people and just like getting out and networking. And like I've come a long way in doing that because like I feel like I used to be a hermit. So, um, but like really fully getting out there and not taking bad interactions to heart. I think he would tell me to also stop thinking that my story isn't one that people want to listen to or that is worth telling. Because sometimes I get those thoughts too, where who's going to listen to this? Who's going to watch this? Even right now, I'm like, of all your episodes, I'm like, you gonna be watching me, or you gonna be watching like I don't know whoever the last guest was, like. But nah, somebody can benefit from your story, and somebody can take something away from it. Again, people that you think you would have nothing in common with, or like any type of you know, you would be anywhere in the same point of life, they might drop a little nugget of wisdom that helps you get to that next point. So yeah, if my future self was here, he would tell me to fully embrace being yourself and fully embrace your personality. What is the biggest lesson life is teaching you right now? God is in control and I am not. So that's probably the biggest one. I like you try to you try to make stuff happen, you try to manufacture stuff. You have your plan, and they say you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. It's like I got my plans and I'm sure he's laughing. So um that's probably one of the biggest lessons, is that the control that you think you have, you really don't. Um and in good and in bad ways, because there's things that I'm glad I don't have the control over, because I'm like I do not want I'm glad, and there's things that I'm like I wish I had control over this, but like if you did, it would be a disaster. So that's something that is a huge lesson, and it's easier said than done, especially whenever you think like, oh, all I have to do is this. If I just do this, just one little nugget, like, but he's telling you not to do that. Um, what are you learning to love about yourself? I think I am learning to love, like I said, my personality, and just like trying to bring out the goofy side of me, and the joke telling side, because like life doesn't have to be so serious, and you try to act all cool and all hard for what? Like for what? Acting all hard, like, so I think that little bit of like fun, that little bit of goofiness, that little bit of like throwing the jokes out there, I think that's something I'm starting to love about myself, because again, there's more to life than just being serious, and I want to laugh, I like to tell jokes. So I think even in my content, I've been trying to incorporate more things like that, and to not just have it be serious all the time. Like, we did the little dancing reel
I
recently.
love that.
So yeah, stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't dance, so
I
I ain't
can't
got
even tell
the
though.
but yeah. So how has it felt to be seen in this way today? It's been it was cool. Like it's been really cool, and I think, and I hate to use the word just cool, but it's eye opening too, to be able to see. Like again, I had so many doubts coming in here, and so much like anxiety about like, okay, what am I gonna say? And if I am seen, is it gonna be seen, as goofy, and not the good goofy, the bad goofy. So um, but I don't feel that way. And I think, again, being in front of the camera, being able to just express yourself and seeing that it's okay, I think is one of the biggest takeaways that I've taken out of this. And again, it feels good to not suppress yourself, I'll say. Not inhibit yourself. Take the inhibitor off and you just get what you get. So, biggest takeaway again, just continue to be yourself, continue to tell your story, continue to try to be authentic, and again, keep the main thing the main thing. Keep your purpose, and don't try to veer away from that. Yeah, and to just be yourself. I think that's the biggest takeaway is to be yourself. Any final thoughts? Uh Final thoughts. This was fun. Final thoughts. Shout out to Tally for setting up this and for doing this for all the creators and stuff that are around the city. I think that this is something that we all can benefit from and that we all need. And sometimes it does feel like there's a lot of, I'll say, healthy competition in the city and just trying to, everybody's trying to work their way up. But I think we all need to recognize that we're all in this game together. And again, there's so many things you can learn from different people. And I think the fact that you take your platform and you specifically make it like, hey, I'm gonna tell everybody else's story. That's not only is that selfless, but I think that that's very inspiring and very like the work that you're doing, it holds a lot of weight. And even if you don't see the full benefit of it now, you're making a difference in the city. And I think that's awesome.
Aw, thank you, Jordan.
You're
That
welcome.
means so much.
So that's my takeaway. Thank you for being here. Yep. Thank you for having me. This has been Jordan. We're signing off. Shout out to Tally. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being here. Boom, 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 boom.